So, before we get into the actual video, I just want to say a few things first. I am Catholic. I do believe in the Catholic teachings like the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist and the more controversial ones, like praying to the saints and to Mary, and how salvation is more of a process than a one-time thing that happened. Responding to God's grace is a daily choice, cooperating with God's grace, all that. And you might be wondering, like, what does a random kid on the internet have to say about the Christian Avengers, the most popular and probably the most influential Christian, I guess you could say, influencers on the whole of not only YouTube, but the internet in general. And I watched George Janko's Christian Avengers episode 100 on his podcast about 2 weeks ago, I'd say. And I was just disappointed by not only some of the things they talked about, but also what they were saying about Catholic teaching. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've probably seen the hundreds of other videos that are critiquing what George Janko said, especially about like kissing the statues of the saints and the Eucharist, and how he called the Eucharist dirt, which is debated. I think he did, but some people like Ruslan KD think he wasn't talking about the Eucharist. But I mean, he said, I don't look at things that are dirt and put it to the holiness of my God. So I'm pretty sure he was talking about the Eucharist. The Eucharist isn't dirt. It's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ himself. And he calls it blasphemy to worship the Eucharist. I think it's blasphemy that you call the Eucharist dirt. With all this controversy going around about, Catholic teaching and people saying Catholics, are idolaters, worship the saints and stuff, and people who say that Catholicism is a works-based religion, because I've seen the videos on that as well. People saying that Catholics think that they can earn their salvation. I honestly don't understand how people can say that. This has been debated for literally thousands of years in plenty of ecumenical councils who have condemned the idea of working for your salvation. And I'd just like to point out a verse in the Bible real quick that straight up says, "Work out your salvation with fear and trembling." Philippians 2:12. It doesn't say work out your salvation in confidence and security, like those people who believe in once saved, always saved. It means to say that we are to have fear of God in the whole process of our lives. It's a process. It's not a one-time thing. It's not, receive Jesus today and you will be saved forever. No, it's put your faith in him every day, throughout all of your struggles, throughout every single thing that you find yourself doing, every single, every single trial that you find yourself going through, every single doubt that you have in your mind. Trust in him. That is a daily choice to make. It's not one thing that you decide to do one day in your life and it's done forever. Back to the actual podcast, though, about what George said. I believe when he was saying, I don't worship dirt, I believe he was talking about the Eucharist, right? And I mean, just the idea of the Eucharist being dirt is pretty asinine to me. It is bread and wine that is substantially turned into the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. And Ruslan KD, who was talking to George about the Eucharist, he said that he believes in the real presence, but he doesn't believe the molecules changed. It kind of suggests that he thinks Catholics believe the molecules change. We don't believe the molecules of the bread and wine actually change. We believe that they are physically the same, but substantially, they are the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. Substantially, not physically, substantially, they turn into Jesus. For those who say it's cannibalism entertains and implies that the flesh you're eating is already decayed. Obviously, we don't believe we're eating the decayed flesh of Jesus Christ. We believe we are eating the glorified body of Jesus. And back to the thing about Ruslan and him saying that the molecules change or whatever. That's accidents, right? St. Thomas Aquinas goes over this and differentiates between the accidents and the substance. The accidents is what it looks, tastes, and feels like. It looks, tastes, and feels like bread and wine. The accidents are bread and wine, right? Physically, it's a wafer. Physically, it is wine in a cup. Substantially, the essence of it is Jesus Christ, the glorified body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. We do not believe that the molecules are actually changed into the physical body, blood, and soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. It is essentially and substantially the body of God. I also heard, and this is awesome, that Sam Shimon is going to be on George Janko's show. I love Sam Shimon. He's awesome. And he really does truly an excellent job at defending our Christian faith, and he, I believe, converted to Catholicism a few years ago, and he does a pretty good job at that too. And I truly cannot wait for the episode to come out where George and Sam are talking, and I sincerely hope that Sam points out George's mistakes in hopefully not too aggressive of a way, but either way, I mean, I don't believe George is a heretic, but he definitely gets some things wrong. And again, probably weird that whoever may be watching this is hearing this from a random 15-year-old kid. But I am Catholic, and I probably will stay Catholic for a long time, if not my whole life. And yeah, I was honestly disappointed when I saw the Christian Avengers on George Janko's podcast, because I had actually been looking forward to that episode, because he had talked about making that episode like a month or two before it came out. So I was, waiting in anticipation and seriously hoping that I would, get something edifying about that. And sure, I learned some stuff from that episode, but what they said about Catholics is just ridiculous, and that's the main part that disappointed me. I think that's all I have to say, at least for now. If you're seeing this somehow, if the algorithm brought this to your page, then stick around, because I will keep making these videos, and at the risk of sounding just horribly cringe, like and subscribe, because I will keep doing these videos whether anybody watches them or not. Goodbye, and God bless.